welcome to another classic guitar video. Tonight's video is brought to you by Guitar Center of Glendora. Please check them out. Tonight's guitar is very cool, special, unique guitar to me. It's a D'Angelico Excel Lexington Acoustic Electric guitar in Cherry Burst. Pretty cool guitar. It's a few years old. It's 2015. They no longer make this specific and exact model. It's pretty much NOS, New Old Stock. I've had it a while. Got it from a friend of mine, and I'm just going to do a setup on it. And it's pretty clean. I'm just going to do my basic thing to it. And yeah, that's it. So let's get right into it. Here it is in all its beauty.
There we have it. Pretty cool. Pretty special. Pretty cool. Pretty cool, pretty special. So there it is in all its glory. Yeah, again, D'Angelico Excel Lexington Acoustic Electric. Pretty darn neat. The specific exact model number is DAASD 300CSB. And here it is. Pretty cool. Pretty darn nice. They have a really nice sound. So yeah, D'Angelicos are a favorite of mine in their acoustics, acoustic electrics, and electrics. I have quite a few of them. In fact, I have another one sitting to the left of me 3 feet away. It's a 12-string acoustic electric I just acquired. And then I just acquired a full-sized hollow body arch top in black also. So I have, I think, 3 D'Angelicos I'm going to be working on in this up and coming week. So yeah, pretty cool. Rosewood motherboard, mother of pearl inlay, headstock and fretboard. The rosette is abalone. We have brass pegs, bone nut down here and a bone nut down here. Pretty cool. And something cool I'd like to show you about this guitar. I don't know how well it's going to come across in the video, but part of the controls here, it has a setting for brilliance, volume of course, bass, mid-range, and treble, but it also has a, you press and hold it, it's going to be a little hard to see, but you can see the green there. It's a built-in LCD tuner. Not LED, LCD. So it's its own little tiny LCD screen. And it's just a tuner and it's pretty cool. You just press and hold and it goes right off again. Has gold plated hardware, not gold tone, actual gold plated, 24 karat gold plated. Beautiful guitar. Like I said, it's NOS, it doesn't have a mark on it. But I'm still going to do my thing to it. Full professional setup. Which shouldn't take long. It should be done in an hour, pending any problems. So I don't think we'll have any problems. So let's go ahead and plug it in and give it a quick test play, and see what we get. It's going to be a little hard because the jack is in the back. I think if I move it up all the way. There we go. I think we can do it. You can hear what I talk about when I set the brilliance to off and then turn it up. Just kind of gives it a brighter sound. And then if I turn everything to default on the bass, mid-range, and treble, and then turn everything up, comes out nice. I'll play a chord here. Pretty cool. We know everything works and the battery is still good. So we don't need to replace the 9-volt battery that's in it. So that's a plus. There you have it. Pretty cool so far.
That's correct. It was important that his decision to leave the ship appear plausible.
Again, I love these D'Angelicos. They're very good quality. They can be a little on the pricey side. I will say that. But you get you get what you pay for. You get quality. So yeah, okay, we will go ahead and commence detuning it and start. I already took it into my workshop and blew it out. I always take a compressor and blow out the hole, make sure there's no dust bunnies, wood chips, picks, pennies, dimes, nickels, quarters, anything to jam down there. I always do that, just for the sake of doing it. So we'll do 10 on this sucker. And these strings are still brand new, so I'm not going to replace the strings, because I don't need to. And it does have the original D'Angelico case, so that's a plus. That is a good plus. Okay, there we go on that. I'm going to give this a little bit more room because it's kind of a long guitar because the headstock is so big on these. But we'll go ahead and start by tightening the tuners. I can already tell they're a little loose. So we'll go ahead and do that. Let me check something real quick. Yeah, there we go. My new wear screwdriver. I still got the tag on it when I did the unboxing of it a few weeks ago. So we have the old one, and this is the replacement that Wera sent me. So that was nice of them. I have a few more guitars I need to turn in. Actually, you don't even need to turn in the the tool. You just need to tell them. You just email them and tell them you've got a tool lifetime warranty. They do ask you to take a picture of the broken or worn part, just as proof, and then they send you out a new one. So pretty cool. But I use this specific size Phillips quite a lot, especially with these tuners. The head themselves and then the back of the set curve. So, okay, we'll flip this sucker over and then do the other ones, and then do the set screws last. You don't need to go too tight on these, just I was using the old one for a second. You can always tell the vast difference between the old one, the worn one, and the new one. The tip is the rest of the. See, here's the old screwdriver. Everything from here, from the very, very tip on, is still perfectly good. It's just the tip has become worn. So it renders the whole screwdriver useless, unfortunately. But it is what it is, and that's what it is. I like to go fairly tight on tuners and then just give it a test and reseat every quarter turn or so. You got to make sure some of these have nylon or plastic washers. You don't want to crack the washer. Some of them they just use cheaper tuners. They use just cheap plastic washers. Good ones like these, like Grover's, they use nylon ones, so you can go pretty tight on these. Still be pretty good. Oh yeah. Do a little bit tighter on this one. And that's it. Close the drawer. We'll set these all sideways because I'll need to do that when I polish it anyway. And then we'll do the set screws.
Here's another cleaning tip from Mr. Clean. Cleaning tough bathroom and kitchen messes with sprays and wipes can be a struggle. There's an easier way. Try Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. Just wet, squeeze, and erase tough messes like bathtub soap scum.
Okay.
On grease from oven doors.
Last one.
Now Mr. Clean Magic Eraser comes in disposable sheets. They're perfect
Little
for
bit.
stovetops
Little tiny bit more.
and all over the house.
A little tiny bit more still.
Clean Magic Eraser and Mr. Clean Magic Eraser
A
sheets.
little tiny bit more on this one.
Lieutenant Torres is waiting for these intellect sequencers. Get them to arrive.
One a little too far.
Oh, hello, Neelix.
Okay. Now we'll do the strap button.
What is it that you need? These signal correlation trees.
And we'll do the side strap button. Or the bottom one rather.
You're kidding. Sure. I just tried to figure out how that could have happened. I might have done it. This couldn't be a worse time, Neil. We're getting everything ready for rebuilding the warp coils. Do you mind if I use the diagnostic terminal over there?
Alright, just don't tap into any engineering systems.
I'll be careful.
Jonas here, Lieutenant.
And the electronics are Fishman, just so you know.
Take these to Lieutenant Torres.
Right.
Just for your information. So that was fun using the new screwdriver on this great and wonderful guitar, which again is a D'Angelico Excel Lexington. Excel series. Excel is the series, Lexington is the specific model number. So yeah, everything is tight. Now we can loosen the strings off of the fretboard and tighten the jam nuts on the tuners and take the truss rod cover off and check the truss rod.
We'll get you over there as soon as we can, Tom. You're still out of transporter range, but we won't change course until we come back to you.
Okay. Now we'll take the truss off. And once we take the truss rod cover off, I'll check the nut and make sure the nut is nice and
We
tight.
need that transporter now.
I'm watching on it, Captain. Having trouble resetting the EPX manifold.
Stay on it.
So we're only 15 minutes into this, and we're doing pretty good already. No problems, issues, or glitches so far. I mean, like I said, the guitar is NOS, new old stock. A friend of mine bought it, put it in the case, and that was it. Didn't do anything else to it after. That was it. I'd like to take one of these bridge pins out and just kind of show it to you. They are machined brass. They are not cast or anything. And they're pretty darn cool. And they're very accurate, and they're right in the rosewood bridge there. So they're pretty cool. I'll polish the heads of those up. I'm parched. I need to take a drink of my soda pop.
I recognize that subroutine.
For God's sakes, Neelix, back off.
Excuse me. Okay. Always want to inspect the truss rod cover hole first, just to make sure it's clear.
We're in transporter range, Captain.
And you want to double check what tool you want to use. So that's important. Very carefully insert my tool. And check. You always take note of what position your truss rod is once you put your tool in. And perfectly straight up and down, factory setting. So what I want to do is I want to loosen it a little first, just to see how tight it is, and to kind of break it loose from its seating right here, and then tighten it and see if I need to go any tighter. And I've adjusted so many truss rods over the years, thousands and thousands. I know how tight and not tight to go. So it's good. I don't need to make any adjustment. The factory setting is pretty darn good, pretty accurate. It's right there. I don't need to do anything to it. So there you have it on that. Now I will take a picture of the fretboard before I commence cleaning it. Again, I use my little clips to clip back the strings, so that way I don't need to take the strings completely off. And I've lined the inside of the clip here with felt, so that way it doesn't scratch the inside jaws. I've lined with felt, so that way they don't scratch the guitar. I'm just going to take the nut and make sure the nut's tight, kind of check the frets, the fret edges, see if there's any edges I need to grind down. I've never really felt a D'Angelico that I had to do a recrowning on, or something they missed at the factory. I think one time I ran my finger down right about here and found an edge that they didn't quite get, so I just took my file and filed it down. But these are all good. You want to be able to run your finger across the whole run of the frets without it catching on your finger, catching on your skin. And that's the point. That's it. That's the whole spiel. The whole glockenspiel. The whole glockenspiel. Okay. Take a picture. Take a picture to last longer, as the old saying goes.
Everything was so fresh in the beginning, but that plug, wait to say it. Luckily,
Take a picture, it'll last longer. That's what we're gonna do. And we will go ahead and start doing the fretboard.
I must admit, I have a few good tricks to help hide my bladder leak pad. Like the old tunic tuck. You know it, right? But you have to with Always Discreet. I couldn't believe the difference. It's less bulky, and it really protects. What's this? The super absorbent core turns liquid and out to gel and locks it away.
Okay, we will commence polishing. We will now commence of the polishing. Okay, here we go. It's going to be a little noisy, so sorry about that. I wholeheartedly apologize for that. move that. I gotta move something because I can't move my chair. You can usually move my chair to the right like a foot and a half, and I can't do it because I have some guitar bodies in the way. I'm gonna have to move those tomorrow. I guess I've got like 13 or 14 guitar bodies, custom shop guitar bodies, and the ones I've showed you guys in previous videos before. I'm gonna have to move them because they're in my way. So with that being said, I'm going to take a during picture. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, but to me this is a special guitar, so I'm going to take a during picture. Fresh rag. And we're going to do 12 runs across. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ooh. Even though the guitar is NOS new, it's still dirty. Dirty. Okay. Now I will commence doing the in-between threading here. I really need to wash this rag. I didn't have a chance to do laundry. What with the holidays and doing other stuff. So I'll have to throw these rags in the laundry. Hopefully by the weekend. You like them with a little bit of residual polish and wax on there, but you don't want them so built up that you can't polish your guitar anymore. You leave streaks and stuff. This is going pretty fast. I mean, of course it's new, so. Now again, this guitar is from the year 2015, according to the serial number, but it's NOS, which means new old stock, which means the guitar just never sold until recently, and then stocked away and then never used. So it's called NOS, new old stock, and that's what this guitar is. So it's not a used guitar. Now some people will debate that and say, well, I put my hands on it, so therefore I used it. But by that logic, you can call a guitar that was just made at the factory 5 minutes ago a used guitar, because guess what? They had to put their hands on it, they had to use it, they had to put a tune on it, a factory setup on it, so therefore it's a used guitar. And a lot of people will debate that and say, well, you know, no, it's not, it's used. But, you know, 6 to 1 is half a dozen to another, is what I say to that. Another piece of proof on that, you can go to a local guitar center or Sam Ash or whatever, pick up a guitar. If you know how to read the serial numbers, you say you pick up a Gibson Les Paul, And the serial number is not a 2019 or 2020, it's a 2018 or 17 or 16 or even a 15. But yet there it sits on the rack, on the wall of guitars, being sold as a brand new guitar. Even though it is not technically brand new, made yesterday. But that being said, this day went by really fast. I had a lot to do today. I was waiting for packages because, you know, thieves like to steal packages off of people's front porches, as I'm sure you've all heard in the news. So anytime a package comes, you know, I keep an eye on my security cameras, and if I see a deliveryman plopping a package on the front porch, boy, I'm Johnny on the spot to get out there and pick it up. You know, as long as I'm home, awake, and available, I'm out there picking it up. I don't leave it out there. Okay, there we go. Whew. That was tiring for some reason. I don't know why, but it was. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. We'll take an after picture. Whoa. Okay, there you have it on that. Now we're going to take an after picture. Because that's what I like to do.
You know what I mean? No. Maybe you'd like to explain it to me. Why don't you change your uniform before you stick with the class?
Ooh. Sweetness.
Practicing your Telluride. I get it.
Okay, well, there we go. Pretty darn cool.
I beg your pardon.
Forget it.
The ambassador wants to speak with you.
What's the right? We crossed into Victorian space a few minutes ago.
Oh.
Last time I was here, I was on the command.
Even though it's about 45 degrees out, I am warm from doing that elbow grease work, if you will. I gotta get a bigger coaster. My thing's not fitting on my coaster. I'll be right back.
Earth wants a peaceful outcome just as much as you do. That isn't going to happen if we choose sides. Your people have no experience in interstellar affairs. It doesn't seem that you have a lot of other options. Your chef obviously went to a great deal of trouble. I'm told these are authentic Telluride dishes. If I wanted to eat like this, I would have stayed at home. I was expecting to sample Earth cuisine on this journey. But I've had the ribs of that.
Captain Archer to the bridge.
Okay, so there we have it. Show you the frets and fretboard. I know it's kind of hard to see it with the gleam. I'll put the rag over this aspect of it, and then you can see it a little better. Anyway, there you go. Look at the flare. Look at the shine on that sucker. Okay, so very carefully,
With the general monthly payments are low. And you get immediate
yeah, no, I'll take them off now. Sometimes I need to leave them on because when I do the top of the headstock, the strings are getting in the way. But I think it's okay on this one. And then we will commence polishing the guitar. And we should be able to finish this in about the next half hour, I think. I'm thinking maybe, possibly. Maybe, possibly, maybe. Maybe, possibly, maybe.
The second you put it on, your posture will start shifting, relieving pain, and
Okay.
you stand taller. It utilizes triple strap support, too, which gently pull your shoulders back and
Alright, ladies and germs.
slouched spine. This X-ray is of a person that hunches, causing increased wear and tear on the joint. This X-ray is of a person that has proper, healthy position spine. Air posture helps you connect back to a healthy
Beautiful.
But with my arrow posture, I have no more pain.
hard to hide, but arrow posture is virtually invisible. It's padded and comfortable,
I try not to
fully adjustable to fit.
touch any polish or wax to the bridges of acoustic guitars, because even if you just breeze by it, you will take the satin finish right out of where the path where you grazed it. So I always kind of try my absolute categorical best to avoid that area.
Give you relief. Just pay a separate fee. Ivana Arrow Posture comes with a complete 100% money back guarantee. You can get it all, but you have to order it now. Call 1-800-308-9234. That's 1-800-308-9234. Or visit arrowposture.com.
This has the really cool step down bridge, which is really cool, and then the step down pick guard, which is also pretty cool. That's pretty darn spiffy, pretty darn special. This will go right back in the case tomorrow, right after I take the pictures. Right back in the original D'Angelico hardshell case. And they make pretty good cases too. Their cases are pretty darn nice, I must say. They do have gig bags too. They do make gig bags, and they're every bit as nice also. Yeah. They're just as nice. We're getting it. Yeah. Always kind of chest the pick guard and make sure it's not peeling up, and check all the edges, because they're just kind of sticky down with a double-sided tape, if you will. So sometimes those can come up and off. So yeah, you can just give a quick check
Never seen one of the vessels maneuver like this one. All those barbarians have been fine. They've obviously been improving the warships.
Why would the Talarites agree to let Earth mediate their dispute if they were planning to strike?
Perhaps you should ask them. I suggest you scan for our data recording between the sensors.
Okay.
We seem to keep running into
Careful.
each other. It's fortunate Enterprise was close by. It's not a coincidence. We're carrying the Tellarite delegation. They're aboard this ship. These are the people who attacked you. They may know who did.
Well, okay, I'm gonna need to do that again.
You better keep them away from us. Or there will be bloodshed.
Okay. Oh, I gotta sit down. My back's killing me. Check chat. Hello, everyone. Any questions, comments, concerns, or criticisms?
The memory core was done. I was able to reconstruct the last
No? Okay, that's good.
These accusations are absurd. We have nothing to do.
Okay. Now we'll take. Oop, almost dropped it. Take me polish rag. And then we'll wipe the polish off and see what we got. See what we got up in here. I think we're gonna have pretty much near perfection because, like I said, the guitar is NOS. New old stock, so we've got no scrum marks on it, we've got no buckle rash, we've got no nothing.
You're just a passenger on my ship. I have the orders. Where are you taking them? Back to Andoria. You can't. They'll arrest us. They'll hold us responsible for this incident. If you're innocent, I'm sure you have nothing to worry about.
Usually for. I always look and make sure, you know, any guitar coming from the factory is never perfect. You have what's called factory blemishes or blems straight from the factory. So if there's anything I can do to make a factory blem lighter or less pronounced, if you will, I do that. There's a little tiny spot right here that's kind of iffy. So I go clockwise, counterclockwise, back and forth, up and down, diagonal this way, diagonal the other way, and then counterclockwise to finish it. And that usually takes care of any... Yep, gone. Or lightened up. Sometimes I can make something disappear, and other times you can all you can do is lighten it up. You can't eliminate something necessarily 100%. But if you can lighten it up, that's always a plus, if you will. And then sometimes you gotta stand up and look at it in your light and see if there's any other spot you need to go over again. There's one little spot right here that I will go over a second time. And it's not a big deal, it's just, again, something, if I can lighten up, I will, or eliminate, I will, and there it is, it's much better. Mo better blues. piece. This is going to look beautiful in the sunlight tomorrow. Well, I say that sparingly because we have a really big storm coming. That's supposed to be like a 3 to 5 day storm. So I say that with all caution. Because, you know, I take pictures of the guitars in natural full sunlight with sun directly overhead. You know, not sun to one side or one to the other, sun directly over my head. So I wait during the day when the sun is directly over my head, and that's when I take pictures of a guitar or a bass or whatever. Short of that, if it's a guitar that a customer is going to come pick up, I have a secondary and a tertiary spot that I can take a picture of a guitar. It is not out in the open. I mean, it's outside, but it's under, you know, under an eave or something. So at least I have a picture of the guitar that I just worked on. Well, that came out really nice. I'm going to go over the pick guard one more time, just because I can.
You don't have to, and your coverage includes free towing, free roadside assistance, and free rental car coverage. Don't get stuck with expensive repair bills. Get coverage through CarShield now before your car breaks down. Call 800-274-8790. When you need to see up close, do you squint and strain? And without enough light, it's more of a pain. Then you need Mighty Sight, the LED lighted magnifying eyewear that makes detailed tasks easy to see, ultra bright and hands-free. Inspired by the eyewear worn by surgeons, Mighty Sight gives you instant 160% magnification and brings prescription labels up close and clear. Look closer.
Take a drink of my drink. Boy, I'm really thirsty. It's very cold outside. It's like 42, 43, 44 degrees. But it's a little bit breezy and very dry. Kind of the semi-calm before the storm, I guess, if you will. I don't know. But yeah, the storm is supposed to dump like 6 inches of rain. So yeah. So big storm. So I gotta batten down the hatches. I gotta take down some Christmas decorations that will get ruined in the rain or wind or hail or whatever else we're supposed to get along with it. Especially like the holiday inflatables, or air balloons as they're also called. You don't want to leave those out in the rain, especially out in the rain on a lawn, or out in the rain on a gravel driveway, or out in the rain on the dirt, because you go to pick them up after the next clear day of weather, and they're just a big sloppy mess. So I always bring in my air inflatables. Just because, you know. Just because. So that being said, I do that just to save my holiday decorations, because you know how crazy I am. You guys know how crazy I am with my holiday decorations. So I like to preserve them as long as possible. I also have a vast collection of Christmas and Halloween plastic injection mold decorations. You know, those injection mold that were all plastic and they had a light in the center of them? They were really popular in the 50s, 70s, 80s. I have a huge collection of those. rare collection of them, and I always bring those in every night. If keep somebody from stealing them, because some of them can be worth hundreds of dollars a piece. Ooh, those look pretty. Those look pretty. Pretty. Oh man, beautiful. I'm gonna go over that pick guard one more time, I think, because it's not that the pick guard's dull, but pick guards are plastic. And, the plastic and the wavy sometimes, and so I think I'm gonna go over that one more time, just to say I did. Just to say I did.
Shield matrix had a completely different configuration. What is that supposed to prove? Several of our warships have been reported missing over the years. Could have taken them.
Oh, okay, so that being said, yeah. Okay, well, I'll do another end of it, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, so, yeah. So I got about 15 to 30 different decorations that I bring in every night due to weather or for fear of, kids coming along and stealing them. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Back and forth, back and forth. Diagonal one way, diagonal the other way. Counterclockwise, 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 clockwise.
We retrieved this from your ship's data recorder. This is the power signature of the vessel that you took from Mars.
And then we will do the top of these bridge pins once again. They're brass. And brass corrodes. Even sitting in a box, they can corrode. Just from humidity and temperature change and all that good stuff. See? I mean, look at that. That was a clean spot 30 seconds ago. Lordy. Lordy, lordy. Lordy, lordy.
We've made with them. They can't be trusted. Your desire for a peaceful resolution is blinding you from the truth.
So again, you can see how much attention to detail I do with guitars. Most people would just run a rag over it and then call it done and then charge you $50 to do this. But if it takes me an hour just to do the bridge on a guitar, then it takes me an hour. Simple as that. It takes me as long as it takes me, and that's it. That's what I do. That's how I feel about it.
It'll take 4 days to get to Andorra. By then, that ship will be long gone.
And if I feel I need to go over this bridge even another time, I will go over it another time. Until I am satisfied with it. I think I'm going to go over this area one more time. Go over it another time. That's simple. So we're at 52 minutes. Technically, I should have been done with this guitar by now, but I'm in no rush. This isn't going to be a 2-day project or anything by any stretch of the imagination, but that being said, sit down pretty quick anyway because of my back. But other than that, okay, that's good. That's awesome. Now I'm satisfied with it. Just when you think you can make it's done, you can always make something a little tiny bit better. Always. It's just kind of the way. So look at that. Boom, baby. And you can't argue with that. You really cannot argue with it. You could argue with it, but you'd lose that argument. I guarantee you'd lose that argument. I guarantee. I gotta stop for a bathroom break here in a minute, so I will put a coat on this before I take a quick bathroom break. Now some people would say, man, why don't you use a machine polisher? I'd be done in 30 seconds. And sometimes I do that. But I don't know. Something about a hand polish sometimes that just supersedes any kind of machine polish. Sometimes with a black guitar I will machine polish because black is a very unforgiving color and it shows every flaw, every scratch, every ding, every dent, every fingerprint, every speck of dust. So depends on if the occasion calls for using that. And again, sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. It depends. Okay, I'm going to take a bathroom break real quick. I need to.
Double the size of each bottle for free. So now you have 4 times the limousine for just $29.95. Plus, you'll get Metabolo Plus to help boost your energy and metabolism. But you must call. Call 800-435-8014. 800-435-8014. 800-435-8014. At touchofmodern.com, we get that the things you surround yourself with reflect who you are. Your style, your drive, your passions. Venture through a curated collection of astonishing items at touchofmodern.com. Because sometimes things aren't just things, they're you. Go to touchofmodern.com and discover the world's most unexpected items. Attention cancer victims who use the weed killer Roundup. A federal jury unanimously found that Monsanto's popular weed killer Roundup was a substantial factor in causing cancer. You may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you or someone you love used Roundup and were diagnosed with cancer, call the number on your screen now. Don't wait. There may be time deadlines to file a claim. Call 800-470-4691. That's 800-470-4691.
Their primary systems are offline. No response. Vital signs are indeterminate.
Yeah.
Find out who these people are. Take a team and make those with you. There are lots of folks offline. Bring Trip along. See if you can get it working.
Okay. Sorry about that, folks. I had a small issue come up that I had to take care of. And now we're all good. So, okay, now we will polish this off. When you polish this off, you don't want to bear down. Just barely the weight of your own hand, and then you want to pick up and you want to move the rag. Otherwise, where your hand and your fingers lay will load up with polish and wax. And you'll just streak it even more. So you just occasionally move it a little bit. You know, just kind of like that. You don't have to move it much. And just kind of like that, you know? Oh my goodness. Oh, look at that. That is phenomenal. Wow, 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 wow. Look at that. That is just... Look at that. That is awesome sauce right there. That is what I like to call hardcore bitchin'. Now, another reason why you see me stand up and look at a guitar, other than I need to stand up and stretch my bad back, I use the light that's on the ceiling, and I bring the light to any spot, and I move my head and I move back and forth, and I use the light to accentuate any spot that I need to go over again. There's one little kind of area right here that I need to kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit wavy. Again, it's a factory, I won't call it a blemish, I will call it a inconsistency. There we go. So I just kind of go over it again. So we'll go counterclockwise, and then we'll go clockwise, and we'll go back and forth this way, and then back and forth this way, and diagonal left, oh gosh, I lost my train of thought, and then diagonal right, and sometimes you can vary it. And I always finish with counterclockwise because I'm right-handed, so me going counterclockwise is kind of natural for me to go that way. So I'll fold my rag in fourths just to make it a little thicker. Plop it on, just the weight of my hand. Go clockwise and counterclockwise. Back and forth, diagonal right, diagonal left, and finish off counterclockwise. Oh yeah, it improved another 2 to 5%. Now you might say, oh, 2 to 5%, well, you're wasting your time. Now if this were a $50 guitar that I'm only going to get $50 for, I might agree with you on that, but this is a higher dollar guitar. This is a guitar I will probably get, I'm going to put it up for sale for probably 600, between 600 and 700 I'm going to put on this guitar. And that's kind of a semi-high retail. It's not a high retail, it's just kind of a semi-high retail. Because I don't necessarily want to sell the guitar, but if somebody wants to give me full pop retail for it, guess what? They can buy it. So I will do this one little spot that's about an inch. And I will do it again. This time I will bear down a little bit more on it. Clockwise. Clockwise. Back and forth. Horizontal. Back and forth. Or back and forth. Horizontal. And then back and forth. Up and down. Vertical. Diagonal. Oop, I gotta move my pad. Diagonal the other way. And finish off counterclockwise. Okay, and then we'll do this all over. You always want to make sure your polish or wax or whatever you use is dry, because then you're just smearing it if it's wet. So if you have to kind of blow on it a little bit or fan on it a little bit with a fan or whatever you can. And then when you go back and forth, just the weight of your hand. Oh, much better. Again, if there's any way one can improve a factory finish, you can. Look at that. I'm not wasting my time doing that. That's for sure. In my ever so humble opinion. Okay, now we're gonna do the sides. This guitar is taking a little tiny bit longer than I wanted to, but that's okay. You know, I enjoy doing this work, so it's to me it's not work per se. Yeah, it's not quote unquote work to me. So if it takes me a little bit longer, if I have to put 2 hours of labor into a guitar, into a piece, that's okay. I'll live. Generally speaking, I charge about $55 an hour for my labor. I can't put 6 or 7 hours into this because then I'm losing money. But that being said, I'm all too happy to put a little extra effort into a guitar. Just because, you know. So just when you think a guitar is going to take an hour, 2 hours, we're not doing too bad. We're at an hour and 7 minutes. So, I mean, it's not like we're doing pretty darn good. Hourly wage time, if you will. So, yeah. Again, the electronics on this are Fishman. So they're pretty darn good. Oh my goodness, look at that. And again, just because a guitar is sitting brand new in its case, does not mean it gets a little bit of corrosion on it, or a little bit of dullness to the finish. You know, because we live in we as human beings live in climate weather, you know. We get hot, we get cold, we get humid, we get dry, and with that comes corrosion, you know, whether it's corrosion on your car, or corrosion on your boat, or corrosion on your bicycle, corrosion on your lawnmower, corrosion on your whatever. that's what happens, you know. It is what it is, and that's what it is. Wow, look at that, though. That came out pretty nice. Okay, I'm going to flip it over now. I do want to finish the guitar tonight, so. And we're already at 12:45 p.m. my time. And I usually only work until 1. Because I do want to finish this guitar. I have other guitars I need to get out this week before Christmas, so I can list them for Christmas sale. What are we at? 4 days before Christmas. I have 6 guitars I would like to get out and listed for sale. I'm probably only going to get 3 or 4 out, but my goal is 6. Because 'tis the season. This is the season for me to be selling guitars for Christmas gifts. And I've already sold, I think, 4 guitars that people told me specifically they were for Christmas gifts for their husbands, boyfriends, wives, girlfriends, family members, etc. So not everybody goes into a store and buys something brand new, even though this is brand new. Because I do make it a point to buy guitars that are NOS. And sell them as such, and people appreciate that. You know, they don't have to pay tax. They don't have, with me, they don't have to pay sales tax. They don't have to pay, you know, have the guitar set up, you know, all that. They can just buy it and buy a case for it, or whatever other accessories they want to buy for it, and you know, give it to their significant other, if you will. Ooh, almost tipped the guitar over. I need to flip this guitar over because I think there was a spot underneath of it. I guess I got it. There's a spot on the very bottom that I kind of wanted to do a double on, but I seem to have gotten it with the first run by, if you will. So. Okay, so now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip the guitar backwards and then do the tops that I didn't get. Such a beautiful guitar. I mean, I really hate to sell this guitar. That's what I do. I sell guitars. But that's why I'm going to put a high retail on it. Because if I don't sell it, I'm not going to cry if I don't sell this guitar. I'm really not going to cry. Because it's a cool piece. And they don't make this specific model of guitar anymore. So, that being said, like I said, I won't cry. Whoops. Ooh, I do need to be careful I'm not dropping it though. Beautiful piece. Beautiful. Look at that. Okay, great, wonderful, awesome, killer, awesome, neat, cool. All those words. Yeah. Okay. Now I will do the back of the headstock. I'll sit down a minute though. Check chat. Problems, issues, glitches, concerns, criticisms from chat room. Move on.
I should have known better. About what? Fellow officer. There's nothing going on with this anymore if you're interested. That's why I asked. Well, you said you had not too nice boss. This is true.
Okay. We will now do the back of the neck, back of the headstock, tuners. Then we'll flip it over, do the top of the headstock, and then we will commence with the setup on said guitar. Wow, guitar is so awesome. So awesomely awesome. This guitar is so awesomely awesome that it's awesome. I don't know what else to say about it other than it's awesomely awesome, and it's awesome with its awesome awesomeness. It may sound redundant saying that, but that's okay. Because it's awesomely awesome with its awesome awesomeness. I'll get the Grover tuners in a type of fashion that allows me to do each kind of section or part of the tuner one at a time, because these are the old step type tuners that were on, like, say, BC Rich guitars and other guitars. The old step. So I do one little section of it at a time, so that way when I'm done I know that I polished that section of the tuner at a time. I don't just wipe the rag over it and call it done. I have certain sections that I do, and I flip my rag over and then I do the other section. And then I call it done.
We discovered the function of the emitters on their home. They're holographic detectors. It's a camouflage.
And sometimes it's a time-consuming thing, because you're getting corners and turns, and you're getting all kinds of aspects of the tuner, especially with these step-type tuners. You've got all these little edges and just everything, you know. And the difference between gold tone and gold plated, see, these are gold plated, not gold tone. Gold won't tarnish. Gold tone will tarnish, but gold plated won't. So these are gold plated, but they could still stand a coating of polish, you know. So that being said, my back is starting to hurt. That's okay, I'll live. Now I will do the other side. Oh, I hear the guitar. I know when the guitar is off of its pad, because I can hear it, you know? Okay. So yeah, I mean, this guitar is taking longer than I thought it was going to take, but they always do. They always do take a little longer than I thought, because I want a little extra attention to something, or, you know, like that. If I have to take a little extra attention to something, I'm always happy to do that. Because if you were to take this guitar to, say, a Guitar Center, a Sam Ash, and hand it to some 20-something-year-old kid and say, do this, and they're not going to do half of what I'm doing, because they just simply don't know how. It's not because they're bad or a bad person or bad people or bad, anything like that. It's because they just don't know. They don't know any better. And, that's all. No more, no less. It's just they don't know. A lot of times they only know what they're taught, and if they are taught by a person that doesn't know themselves, I've had a lot of people bring me guitars they took to, say, a Guitar Center for a full setup, and it doesn't come out right, and they bring it to me, and there's just aspects that they didn't do. And it's not that they were unprofessional or didn't do it, it's just they don't know. Again, they only know what they are taught, in a lot of cases. Not all cases, but a lot of cases. Very seldomly do you walk into a Guitar Center and go into the service department and you see a 40, 50, 60-year-old somebody doing a setup on a guitar. You see a teenager or a 20-something-year-old doing a setup on a guitar. And they just, they just simply don't know. It's not that they're a bad person or anything. They just simply don't know. Because they've been taught. When I worked at Guitar Center in the 1990s, I had people coming from miles around to come and have me set up their guitar, because I built a reputation that said, this guy is a consummate professional, he knows what he's doing. Take your guitar to this guy, even if you have to drive 50, 75, 100 miles to go see him. He will treat your guitar like no other. And I built a really good reputation doing that, a really, really good reputation, and I still have that reputation. I still have people bringing me guitars from 250 miles away. I had a guy drop off a guitar. He drove 2.5 hours to get to me for me to do a setup on his guitar. I did the setup, and he came and picked the guitar up, and he was ecstatic with it. Now, I don't have that particular guitar videoed, because he came during the day and he needed the guitar for a gig, so I sat down and I did it. I didn't videotape it. I wish I did, but sometimes you can't videotape everything. There's just not enough hours in the day to videotape every single solitary thing you do, or every single solitary thing I do. There's just not enough time, not enough hours in the day, and so on. So I have to do what I do when I can do it, and then that's it. But that being said, he drove his 250 miles to see me. I did his setup. He was so happy with it. He bought me. He not only paid for his setup, he bought me lunch. He was ecstatic with the work I did. Ecstatic. We are at an hour and 22 minutes, so we're not doing too bad. We're not doing too bad. We're not doing too bad. We're not doing too bad here.
We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit, and you will surely help some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. May God bless you and keep you until then.
Thanks, Katie. After a moment of soft meditation for the alcoholic who's still snoring, Michael leads me to serenity prayer.
I'm just retightening the jam nuts, the tuners, because when I was polishing them, I noticed 2 of them were moving just a little bit. So sometimes I have to come back and tighten them just a tad. And for no other reason than to just tighten them a little more, you know, just to make sure. Okay, that's good. So I'm just double checking and making sure. You never know. Okay, here we go. And now.
You want to go smart, dog? Not to you.
Now.
We'll have a broken down cop special session. Since I ain't a cop no more, I guess I'm gonna qualify.
Be careful.
Short term, he ought to settle for getting his head out of his ass.
Language.
Sorry, folks, I'm watching NYPD Blue, and sometimes their language is a little colorful. You say, you know, a little colorful, their language. As you guys know, I always have a TV on, usually tuned to my Star Trek shows. Those are over, so I'm actually running a little bit over time right now, but that's okay. I'm having a good time and enjoying myself, so that's okay. Oh my goodness, look how beautiful. I'm sorry, sometimes I just have to kind of revel in my own work. Kind of admire my own work, if you will. Not being, you know, I'm not trying to be, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not trying to be, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for right now, but just kind of admiring my own work, for lack of a better description. Something comes out better than I personally expected it to.
Criminal possession, 150 bail bond. The hell's that supposed to accomplish? That's me to repeat this ass. Yeah, good morning. Judge, you only go 150, huh? Yeah. That'll definitely deter flight. Why would Colin want to flee?
I'm actually making pretty good time on this guitar, so I'm not gonna complain too much about how it's coming out in terms of time management. Yeah, it's coming out pretty darn good.
Everybody, my office. He talks to me again like my school principal. He's getting punched in his large nose. If you plan on this lasting more than 5 or 10 seconds, you want to do a little attitude check. My problem is I've been looking at tapes from that apartment.
You want to be careful with your strings. You want to pick it up. Otherwise, you end up taking the string with you and polishing it against the surface of the guitar. So you always just kind of want to. Then I'm going to take the truss rod cover, which is indicative of the Chrysler building.
I'm actually here to suggest an area of investigative focus. And what would that be?
So I'm going to run late on this guitar, but that's all
If
right.
you want anything more than criminal possession to stand, you're going to have to link the dope that killed Dolores Mayo with what Cullinan tried to make her take.
That would be me, Detective Kuykendall.
It's not attempted murder unless Cullinan knows the dose is lethal. You only establish that by showing a reasonable expectation based on
These are aluminum. The truss rod covers are aluminum, and they are cut in a fashion that makes the steps look 3D. So it's pretty cool.
No one castrated you as
I can't win putting my toxicologist on against Sinclair's. You need to find your flock cop's heroin source. Roberts.
Ooh, pretty.
Now dead, correct.
Pretty.
Roberts acknowledged providing the smack Cullen gave Dolores Mayo. I need Roberts' source on the stand saying that smack and what Cullen used 2 nights ago came from the same glassine bag. Alternatively, make the case it was Cullen who bought Roberts' homicide. Thanks to the high level of discourse.
Did he just insult us? This overeducated snot rag.
Nothing Jill said hurt this case.
Give me a minute, would you please?
Okay. There's a screw in with the truss rod cover. And the setup on this is not going to take long. I got a groove and dry lube the nut. And then that's kind of it, if you will.
You need to reach out to Dorna.
What is that?
You seen him fall down drunk at an AA meeting and him ready to go off the in person.
Dorna's being drunk gets beat up.
I'm not sure if he might not be off the
I'm
job.
getting tired too, so there's that aspect of it.
Don't converse with a lot
But
of
I'm not gonna make this a 2-day.
Are you gonna
I'm not gonna make this a 2-day guitar project. So I'm gonna dry lube the nut and groove it.
Robert's dope connections? Good. Thanks.
It's okay.
I'm gonna lightly do it because the guitar is still new, so I'm just taking the sharp edges off the nut.
She knows she's better off.
And the nut is bone too, so I'll be careful and vigilant as to that.
The long run there, I feel you're ahead of the game, parting ways with this guy.
I appreciate it about how I did my job.
That's what I'm emphasizing.
Thanks.
Yeah,
And that he's not
sometimes these are hard to grab.
jealous of your child.
Whoops.
Personally, you're better off too.
Okay, I need to grab a lower gauge one. Still need to grab a lower gauge one. Grab a nice lower gauge one. Nope, I still need to go another gauge lower. I'm just going to go ahead and grab the lowest gauge one.
Him with her boys.
There we go.
That's the aspect that's got her down, that they enjoy this Dildo's company.
I'll hang out with the boys.
That would be a big relief to her hearing that.
I'm gonna tell her right now.
Don't tell me now.
You tell her that. You just think you gotta pity yourself for it.
Okay. Okay, I need to sit down because my back is hurting. I'm going to move the camera view.
Why don't we go in the coffee room?
You didn't tell me this Cullen gave my daughter over pure drug.
Where are you getting your information?
We're actually making pretty good time on this. I mean, it feels like I have 3 hours into this, but we're only at an hour and a half, so we're doing pretty good.
Dolores, his father.
Arthur Betsy, are you in charge? Did you get the order? What order is that, Mr. Mayo? Hold out on me how my daughter died.
I never told Mr. Mayo anything was being held back. I did say I'll put Cullen under arrest for narcotics possession and the possibility he'll be charged with trying to murder Detective Kirkendall. And if he is charged, that may have implications for how Dolores died.
Okay, John. Mr. Mayo.
Okay.
Information from investigation. It's painful
Okay, so
and often
now I'm
unnecessary.
going to go ahead and I'm
She
going
was
to
killed by this guy.
put the strings back in their respective
All over again.
We can't be sure yet your daughter's got
spots.
Prove it yet.
I've grooved it. I grooved the nut and dry lubed the nut, so we're good on that aspect. I'll very carefully pick up the strings and put them back in their respective groove. And yeah. Okay. Oh, now I need to sit down. Probably should wash my hands right now, because I'm going to go ahead and start putting a setup on the guitar. So I'm going to wash my hands real quick, and I'll be right back in about 30 seconds.
Trust me, she'll like it too. Text 321321 and enter that to get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix. Samples are not available in stores, so text 321321 and enter EAT. Looking down at your computers and phones is causing pain. Major publications text that, and it could be causing long-term bad posture. Well, now there's Hipana Aero Posture, the amazing back support which pulls your shoulders back and aligns your spine to help relieve pain. Woven with hemp fibers from the cannabis sativa plant, Aero Posture uses the latest technology for comfort and stability. Just slip the straps over your shoulders and fasten. From the second you put it on, your posture will start shifting, relieving pain, and you stand taller. It utilizes triple strap support, two which gently pull your shoulders back, and one which reinforces your slouched spine. This x-ray is of a person that hunches, causing increased wear and tear on the joints. This x-ray is of a person that has proper, healthy position of their spine. Aero Posture helps get your neck and back into a healthy position.
I look down at my phone all day long, which causes me a lot of pain. But with my Aero Posture, I have no more pain.
Back braces are hard to hide, but Aero Posture is virtually invisible. Its padded and comfortable straps cradle you and are fully adjustable to fit anybody. Woven with the soothing fibers of the cannabis sativa plant, it's so light and breathable, you'll forget it's on. Bulky braces can cost over $100.
Oh my gosh, I gotta move some of this stuff. Some of these packages I recently got.
Formula helps ease the pain in your lower back, knees, shoulders, and more. One simple application.
Ah. Dang it. Okay, whatever. Sorry folks, I had a... Okay, never mind. Okay, we're actually making pretty good time on this guitar, considering. Yeah, I mean, considering we're making pretty good time. So I'm pretty happy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some tension on the strings. I'm going to double check everything. You want to make sure your bridge pins are in all the way. So you just give them a little press. Pick up your string like this with your two middle fingers and your forefinger, or your pointing finger rather, and about on your 4th or 5th fret, put some tension on it. trying to tune it, but you're trying to bring it up to some tension. And sometimes these things, they don't fit very well sometimes. So you have to kind of just act accordingly when they don't fit too well. Again, we've grooved and dry lubed the bridge. It's all good on that. Come on now. I'm trying to cooperate here, but sometimes you have to adjust accordingly. A little more attention to these tuners to give them a finish polish, because these particular type of step down tuners have so many edges and turns and corners on them that you have to act accordingly. And you always want to make sure your strings are in your groove. Your groove, man. So you want to make sure of that. Just go slow, because these tuners can slip out of a plastic hand wind tuner very easily. But I've done them enough times over the years to where I know how to do them. I'm getting to the point where I want to finish this guitar because my back is hurting quite a bit. Actually. So that being said, I'm gonna go a little bit faster on my work. I do want to get it done. Why is this? Ooh, careful. Come on, concentrate. I need to concentrate on my work here. Make sure the string is in its bridge groove and in the nut. And do the same for the strings here. So that way we can act accordingly. I do want to finish, but I am going to act accordingly. So I don't want to break anything at the last minute, you know. So I do want to just act accordingly. Now I need to sit down because of my back, my bad back. Okay, now we're going to start the process of tuning it and getting it to spec. The guitar picks are brought to you by Guitar again. We're not trying to get it in perfect tune off the bat. We're just bringing the strings up to tension. That's not what I wanted. Sorry about that, folks. I apologize for that noise. Little tool that I use to adjust the strings on the onto the tuning post, the string post, so that way they don't bind. Close. you want to go slow because you want to break a string. Inevitably, one might break a string, so. But if there's anything one can do to counteract that. We're in a general tune almost. Okay, we're close. Sorry, it's taking a while. Better to take your time and not break something and then get a good tune. That being said, like I said, it's much better to do it that way. Much better. Oh, back is killing me, but I'm doing the work. I'm trying, guys. I'm really trying. My back is hurting. But I will get it. I'm almost done. We're almost there, folks. There we go. There we go, folks. We are in perfect concert tune. Absolute, categorical, irrefutable, 100% tune. Simple as that. There we go, folks. We are done with this guitar. She is perfect. As perfect as perfect can be. Yeah, perfect as perfect can be. I'm about half hour over that I wanted to do this guitar, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. I enjoyed it, even though it's hard work. You know, it's not even hard work per se. It's just, you know, it's taxing on me because of, you know, again, because of my bad back. So it's very, very, very taxing on me. Even at an hour and 56 minutes, it's very taxing on me. It just is. But it's work I like to do, and yeah, that's it. Simple as that. Simple as that. I have 3 more D'Angelicos to work on this week, so that being said, I'm going to end this video. It is done. Done, finished, through. No more to do.
And there we have it. The D'Angelico Excel Lexington Acoustic Electric Guitar. It is NOS, New Old Stock, from 2015. Really cool guitar. I'm beyond ecstatic with how it came out. Again, it's brand new, so even though it's got 4.5, 5 years on it, it's been brand new in its case, untouched, unmolested, unlooked at, for that amount of time until I got it. I couldn't be any more happier with it. There's no broken parts. I didn't break any parts. There's no stripped parts. There's no broken strings that I had to replace. Just nothing. And I can't rave enough about D'Angelico guitars. They are just, they're phenomenal. They're phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So check them out. Tonight's show is brought to you by Guitar Center of Glendora. Please check them out. And we will see you hopefully tomorrow. I'm going to do the D'Angelico Premier 12-string acoustic electric guitar tomorrow. Time permitting, weather permitting, family permitting, everything permitting tomorrow. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining me on this classic guitar video. And happy guitaring.